I'm about to tell you some good news for a change, some great news in fact, some hope for a vaccine and for a treatment for the coronavirus. And it's hope that comes because of Western medicine, because of the Western scientific method. That's one of the great gifts of Western civilization. But speaking of Western civilization, first I've got to say something a bit less hopeful. Nearly 1,500 years ago now, in Constantinople, now called Istanbul, in Turkey, the Roman emperor built the biggest Christian cathedral in the world. This one, the magnificent Hagia Sophia. For nearly 900 years, Christians worshipped there, the most important Christian church in the East. But then, nearly 600 years ago, the Ottoman Turks came, Muslims. They invaded, they conquered Istanbul, overthrew the Roman Empire in the East and turned Hagia Sophia into a mosque. And a mosque it stayed until 1934, when the great Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the hero of Gallipoli, Turkey's first president, said Hagia Sophia would become a museum open to all, because Atatürk wanted Turkey to turn to the West, not to Islam. So from a mosque it went back to, well, at least the museum. Last week, that changed. Turkey, under its authoritarian President Erdogan, a Muslim hardliner, will now make Hagia Sophia a mosque again.
The issue of deciding the purpose of Hagia Sophia is about the sovereign rights of Turkey. Opening Hagia Sophia to prayers with a new regulation is just about Turkey exercising its sovereign rights.
No one knows what will now happen with the Christian images inside, the beautiful mosaics, because Muslims can't pray in a building that shows them, and last time they had to be covered up with plaster. Now this news has come as a shock, and not just because here is a key military power, Turkey, a member of NATO, rejecting the West. It's also a cultural shock to Pope Francis, for one.
Il pensiero a Istanbul. Penso a Santa Sofia. E sono molto addolorato.
Now you may say, hey, what's the big fuss with just one church in a mostly Muslim country? But the fall of Hagia Sophia, Santa Sofia, is much more symbolic. Certainly Muslim hardliners, including the huge Turkish diaspora in Europe and around the world, will think so. And Western civilization, for us, now everywhere, seems under attack. And it's worse now because it's under attack from within, from people who no longer seem to even understand what it is they're not defending or giving away or undermining or attacking, and they don't want to fight to defend it. Its history is trashed, its flags are burned, even on our streets. Its statues are destroyed or defaced, so that police in Sydney even needed to defend one put up to honour James Cook, the great explorer and man of science. And the silence of our politicians in the face of these attacks, the fear of defending their own civilization and its values, is quite ominous. Instead, in Victoria on the weekend, the Labor government appealed to people identifying as Aboriginal to step forward and tell us how bad this Western society was. It said we owe it to Aboriginal Victorians to be frank and honest about the injustices they have faced. And even the whiteness of the West is now attacked. I guess it's symbolic or something, but anyway, to be white is to be racist, even when you're absolutely sure you're not. Says the author, at least, of a book called White Fragility, a runaway bestseller in the United States.
I think white people should remove that phrase from their vocabulary. I'm not racist. It's not, trust me, it's not convincing to black people.
Okay, so Turkey turns Hagia Sophia into a mosque again. But in Australia, the church is just as much under attack. Victoria Police even charged Cardinal Pell an astonishing 26 times for child sexual abuse against 9 alleged victims. Every one of those 26 charges so weak, so impossible that they collapsed or were overturned. But not before this scapegoat spent more than a year in jail for crimes he could not have committed. And here's the tragedy. And I speak as an agnostic, not as a Christian. Christianity, the dominant and foundational faith of the West, of this Western civilization that we all enjoy, gave us all so much. Like human rights, because Christianity teaches that every single life has worth. And science. Science is very much a Western thing, because Christianity also teaches that there's a logic to this world. As Einstein said, God does not play dice with the universe. I know he was Jewish, but it applies to Christianity. Study and you will find cause and effect, the laws of science. The science that has given us Western medicine, maybe now a vaccine. And people take all this for granted. Like the society will be easy to replace. But with what? Where has there been better? Be careful. Protect what we have.